The tale starts far inside the Amazon jungle, where a lady called Anna and her friend require a vessel to move forward on their trip. All at once, odd sounds ring out from the forest surrounding them. A monkey appears. Anna faces her friend and mentions that what's coming will transform everything for them. She moves ahead by herself, but someone is observing her. Two people are tracking her steps. Anna starts running, then a huge snake, an anaconda, grabs one of the people following her. The view changes to a guy named Doug Mallister presenting a dramatic action scene from a screenplay, but the pair listening stops him. This is their marriage recording he's describing, and this definitely isn't what they wanted. They desire a gentle, loving wedding recording. Doug responds that they said they enjoyed horror films, and he believed he could create something unique. The pair reject his idea. This isn't a feature film, it's a marriage video. The view changes once more to a performer named Griff practicing his dialogue while his makeup is being applied. But in reality, Griff is merely an extra. He's speaking his lines with far more energy than required, and nobody's pleased. They dismiss him immediately. Walking out, Griff sees a poster advertising Anaconda. Just then, he receives a voice message from Doug mentioning he met Griff's mother and she told him he got a major job. Doug mentions he's happy for him. At the same time, Doug's dad sits with him and explains he understands this wasn't what Doug wanted. But he's stopping work soon, and following that, everything becomes Doug's responsibility. It's a decent existence, perhaps even a B+ existence. Today marks Doug's birth anniversary, but he isn't in the mood to celebrate. He simply goes to his house where a surprise celebration is set up for him. His buddy Kenny is present. Claire is present. And surprisingly, Griff arrives as well. Griff shows an older movie to everyone, a brief film the four of them created as children named The Quatch. Doug is amazed a copy remains. Everyone views it and enjoys themselves. At the conclusion, Griff's role defeats the creature and rescues everyone. The following day, at an eating place, Griff reveals shocking news. He possesses the legal control of Anaconda. Supposedly, the film was created from a book by a Japanese writer, and his surviving wife, who was a supporter of the 4 episodes Griff appeared in on SWAT, transferred him the control. Now, Griff desires all of them to remake the movie as a group. Kenny immediately agrees. Claire attempts to avoid it, but Griff persuades her. Doug is uncertain. He expresses to Griff his regret, but he's unable to participate. Griff brings up the past days, watching horror films until 4:00 in the early hours, and now they get the opportunity to truly create one, but Doug refuses. They aren't children any longer. Afterward, Doug returns home and discovers his child viewing the old film they created as kids. His spouse advises him to simply go create the movie. And while handling another marriage recording, something awakens inside Doug. He travels directly to Griff's residence and declares, "We'll do this. We'll remake Anaconda." Doug begins composing the screenplay. To create this film, they'll require a river vessel, a local boat operator, and $2.5 million. But the financial institution only grants them a loan of $9,400, so they reduce their spending plan to $43,000. They also determine the film requires something beyond just an anaconda. Doug and Griff decide to include an intergenerational trauma theme. Everyone appreciates the screenplay Doug composes. Kenny informs Doug he's aware they had their small conflict. There was that occasion at a marriage when Kenny became intoxicated and collapsed directly onto the dessert. But now he claims he's becoming clean. He's only consuming beer and wine. Doug decides to give Kenny another opportunity. As they're departing for the Amazon, Doug's child gives him a tiny trophy. Rather than World's Greatest Dad, it reads Greatest Doug. The entire group reaches the Amazon jungle of Brazil. Doug states that during travel he discovered that anacondas remain in the water for days tracking their targets, and when the opportunity arrives they attack and seize. Right at that moment a guy approaches and begins explaining that an anaconda once squeezed a lady so firmly her eyes came out. That lady was his grandmother. And this guy is Santiago, the snake expert Kenny employed for the production. But Anna is present also, and so are the guys pursuing her. Seeing them, Anna takes a blade. Santiago presents everyone to his snake. He views it as his companion. He cares for it more than everything. He displays his snake, Ader. Everyone is amazed. Santiago states there are stories of anacondas even larger in measurement. When Santiago puts the anaconda's container on the vessel, it opens a bit. Right then, Anna locates the keys to a resting guy's vessel. She grabs them and comes to Doug's group, stating that they contacted her dad by telephone and he's presently in the medical facility. She mentions she must take this vessel for a standard service, so they'll need to locate another one, but all other vessels are reserved. Doug expresses to Anna that they've imagined creating this movie as a group their whole existence. So, Anna rushes everyone onto the vessel and departs. Everyone else appreciates the vessel, but the guys looking for Anna trace which vessels departed the dock. That night, Doug requests everyone to pray to the film deities. He instructs them to request essentially one thing. Don't allow anything to be destroyed. The following day, recording starts. In the film, Claire's role employs an unstable snake hunter, portrayed by Griff, to track down and eliminate a huge legendary anaconda that consumed her whole family. For Doug and Griff, recording this movie is meaningful. They always desired to collaborate, but it never occurred until this moment. Claire and Griff used to be romantic partners a long while ago, and now they're portraying each other's romantic connection. Doug praises their connection. Afterward that evening, during the meal, everyone begins acting silly, pretending to strike an anaconda with their heads. But that identical evening, the anaconda escapes from its box and moves near everyone's sleeping areas. It goes directly toward Griff. Griff notices it and yells. He awakens everyone, asking how this occurred. Santiago claims it's all managed now. He states his snake performs exactly what he instructs and guarantees he won't allow anything to occur to them. The following day, Anna examines a chart of the forest. In the meantime, Griff is recording a moment with the anaconda. He's frightened and pleads with Doug not to force him to perform it, but Doug instructs him not to be concerned. Santiago controls the anaconda. Throughout the moment, Griff must hold the anaconda near to his face and look directly at it. He becomes so frightened that he throws the snake aside. The anaconda falls in the vessel's blade and becomes cut into pieces. Santiago is crushed. Half his spirit departs his form. He's so heartbroken he doesn't even desire to see Kenny at the memorial service. Doug sends Griff away. Santiago ignites his companion on fire and performs a melody for him. In the far area, the guys tracking Anna observe the group from away, but then one of them detects odd sounds arising from the water beneath. A huge anaconda emerges up and eats him. Afterward, Griff comes to Santiago to express regret. He informs him that a companion of his passed away once, also, and it causes pain. Santiago inquires if it was a snake. The pair of them settle down and have a beer. Griff shares about his difficult performing profession. Santiago informs him they don't merit Griff. He's a celebrity. Intoxicated and excited, Santiago announces he's going to obtain a new snake for the film. He pulls Griff out into the forest in the middle of the night. He mentions he can sense it. There are snakes surrounding this area. He clarifies that snakes can detect them through movements in the earth. Every movement they make is pulling them nearer. Santiago and Griff separate and go in separate ways. Griff glances back and Santiago has disappeared. Without considering, Griff runs. In the meantime, Santiago has a snake close by who takes him from beneath the water. Griff hurries back and informs Doug everything. Doug mentions he's certain Santiago will return with a huge snake. But if he's not back shortly, they'll go search for him. But following an hour with no indication of Santiago, Griff begins to worry. In the meantime, Kenny has consumed Santiago's medication. He begins speaking nonsense. Doug instructs everyone they must go locate Santiago. They all go far into the forest. Before them sits an aged camper vehicle. On the opposite area of the forest, the guys tracking Anna don't notice her on the vessel. They choose to look for her in the forest. The group enters the camper vehicle. Griff detects a sound outside. A deceased body falls onto the top of the vehicle and then they encounter the huge anaconda. Anna shouts that they must leave, but the vehicle won't begin. Kenny mentions the relay likely detached. It's below the cover and Kenny is unable to repair it by himself. He's experiencing sight difficulties. Doug becomes angry at him. He claimed he was becoming clean. Griff and Doug dispute over who's going to go outside. In the conclusion, Doug must perform it. He opens the cover as silently as achievable, wishing the anaconda won't detect. But the instant the cover shuts loudly, the anaconda strikes. Doug barely returns inside the vehicle. The anaconda is enormous, like a prehistoric creature. Just at that moment, a bunch of motorcycle riders begins pursuing them. Anna cautions them not to halt. They're unlawful gold excavators. The excavators shoot at the vehicle. Anna removes a weapon and shoots in return. They all get away and return to the vessel, but a guy is present there, aiming a weapon at them, asking where she is. Anna approaches behind him and defeats him. She instructs everyone she can take them out of this place. All they must do is continue going north. Doug instructs her to simply take them to their residence, but Griff doesn't desire to return to their residence without results. He's disappointed. Doug observes the trophy his child provided him, and just like that, a thought strikes him. Doug rewrites the screenplay to feature Anna. The following day, he presents it to everyone. What if while tracking the anaconda, they encounter a total warrior on an amazing mission to reveal the gold excavators? Now they'll be battling the anaconda and the gold excavators. Everyone appreciates the concept. Griff mentions, this production might be a trophy contender. Doug declares, we'll complete this film. They include Anna into the movie, but this fresh path reduces Claire and Griff's roles, and neither of them is satisfied about it. The following day, when Doug requests Griff, he hasn't even cleaned himself. Griff sourly proposes they change the movie's name to Anaconda. He reminds Doug that he's only present because of him, otherwise Doug would continue recording marriage videos. Just at that moment, a big vessel passes nearby. It's a group recording the Anaconda remake, and the reality emerges. Sony possesses the legal control to Anaconda, not Griff. Doug is extremely angry. He asks why Griff deceived him. Griff confesses he deceived so Doug would create the movie with him. Without that deception, Doug never would have performed it. Doug dismisses him. Griff responds that Doug is unable to dismiss him because he already left last evening. Griff takes his belongings, jumps into a tiny vessel, and departs. Claire attempts to halt him, but he doesn't pay attention. He goes toward the Sony large vessel, but it's entirely ruined. Griff sees a young woman yelling for assistance. Before he can perform anything, the Anaconda swallows her completely. Griff flees. In the meantime, Doug chooses to proceed recording without Griff. He mentions arrangements alter, and that's included in movie creation. But then Anna removes a weapon on everyone and commands them off the vessel. She forces the three of them into the forest. Back at the vessel, Griff reaches to discover his companion's absent. All that remains is a weapon. Further in the forest, Anna compels them to remove bags out of the water. Inside the bags is gold. Anna is the actual excavator. Just at that moment, a guy shows up and aims a weapon at her. He's a law officer who's been tracking her down, but from a far location, Griff doesn't understand this. He shoots the law officer. Doug informs Griff he just shot a law officer. Anna takes the weapon and finishes the law officer. She holds the remainder of them at weapon point, but Claire grabs the weapon away from her. And right at that moment, the Anaconda explodes from the water and swallows Anna completely. Everyone runs. A spider attacks Doug. He's unable to move. Kenny mentions they must urinate on the attack. Griff mentions he's completely empty. Kenny confesses he's unable to perform it either. He's urination timid. He's unable to go in front of others. Everyone begins supporting him. You're able to perform it. Allow it to release. But Kenny also requires a seat. He's only able to urinate while seated. So Griff transforms into a seat. Following much struggle, Kenny finally urinates on Doug. Everyone celebrates. As they continue forward, Doug informs Griff he's been envious of him for an extended period for performing what he never managed. But right at that moment, the Anaconda takes Doug and swallows him. Everyone runs away. Griff is crushed. He deceived Doug into arriving here, and now he's deceased. Kenny mentions there's a big open area up ahead and their vessel is on the opposite area, but they're unable to simply run through. It's too visible. They require a distraction. Just at that moment, they detect sounds close by. The Anaconda is near. That's when they discover Doug's form. Kenny examines his heart rhythm. Observing Doug, he mentions perhaps Doug is the distraction. If they pull him into the area and attach a wild pig to his rear, it'll be more difficult for the snake to swallow him. In the meantime, the remainder of them can cross. Kenny connects the wild pig to Doug. He forces a small rodent into Doug's opening, mentioning, snakes appreciate small rodent flesh. They begin running through the area. The snake advances toward Doug, but then Doug's vision organs open. He's living. The others yell from a far location. The Anaconda is right following him. Doug races. Somehow, he continues avoiding the snake. Then the wild pig attached to his rear awakens. It begins attempting to attack him, but the Anaconda swallows the wild pig right off Doug's rear. By some fortune, Doug survives. He inquires whose concept the small rodent was. Kenny attempts to describe it as a collective choice, but Doug understands better. They continue advancing and discover the Sony Group location. It's been entirely ruined. Griff locates a portable radio. Someone replies from the opposite side. The guy on the opposite side shoots a signal at the Anaconda pursuing them. It's Ice Cube. He informs them that following the snake's strike, his whole group separated. Doug mentions they must eliminate it before it eliminates them. They inquire Ice Cube how they were planning to eliminate the snake in his screenplay, but their writer never completed it. They began recording with only partial screenplay. All Ice Cube understands is they were arranging explosive devices throughout the location. Kenny understands how to activate explosives. Ice Cube mentions he must go locate Jay, Lowe, and Stoltz. But before he departs, everyone requests a photograph. They all capture a collective image as a group. Ice Cube provides them one of his weapons. Now Claire will activate the generators. Kenny will manage the recording devices and Griff and Doug will attract the Anaconda into the explosive area and destroy it. Doug and Griff enter a small vehicle. They detect the Anaconda following them, but it arrives from the flank. It begins pursuing their vehicle and then Kenny loses the connection to the explosives. Claire and Kenny rush to restore it working. The instant the Anaconda enters the explosive area, Griff presses the control. Nothing occurs. It's not functioning. Kenny realizes he neglected to activate it. The explosives detonate and the Anaconda ignites in flames. Everyone celebrates. They succeeded. But the Anaconda is still living and their small vehicle is trapped. They reached a stopping point. The Anaconda moves toward them. Griff takes the weapon and moves forward to confront it, just like in the film they created as children. He shoots the signal weapon at an explosive. The Anaconda detonates, but its head is still living. Doug stabs the Anaconda's head. He performs it with the trophy his child provided him. The Anaconda is deceased. They all survived. They distribute their unauthorized movie. Naturally, it's unlawful, so they don't receive theater showing. Sony immediately strikes them with a legal stopping letter. Claire and Griff conclude getting married. They allow Doug to direct their marriage recording. Afterward, a lady visits Doug. She appreciated his unauthorized movies so significantly that she desires him to direct the authorized Anaconda. As for Santiago, he somehow survived also. And with that, this tale reaches an ending. Inform us in the comments how you appreciated this explanation. And don't neglect to appreciate the video and subscribe.